player shout out.
I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get started. And to begin with, we're going to do our player introductions. Now, I want the whole hall to be as quiet as possible, eerily silent, despite having 10,000 people watching live right now. If you're a fan of the three-time GSL champion, the greatest Zerg in the world, then give a cheer for IM's NesTea!
If you would like the Terran, the best Terran in the world, Sean, I am MVP to come back from the loser final and actually take out NesTea here. Give a cheer.
Looks like right off the bat, MVP going to be planting down that supply depot at the front of his base. NesTea will be sending this first Overlord out, and immediately I'm a little nervous about this Overlord positioning because he really can't put it anywhere useful after he finds out his opponent is not at the right position.
We see we are going to have cross-map spawns here, Sean. This is ultra exciting to see because we're not going to see any two-base all-in from NesTea like we saw on that Shattered Temple game when these two met prior in this tournament.
Yeah, NesTea does have a great long-term play, but if NesTea's convinced he's going to have a hard time in those early and mid-game stages, he is more than happy to go all in. And you know, given MVP's reliance on those solid long-term plays, I would imagine he's going for the double Hellion play, JP.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, that's kind of becoming standard right now in this matchup. You see the 15 hatch going down for NesTea, and we saw in game one when these two met, also prior in this tournament, that NesTea defended with only Zerglings and then went and killed his opponent with that Infestor Ling combination. What do you think about that style of play?
I definitely think that the Infestor Ling composition is going to be absolutely perfect for Antigua Shipyard. Very long distances, if you have that creep spread, suddenly the speed Zerglings on creep can get in every single place on the map in about under 15 to 20 seconds. So what that means is that counterattacks are going to be a lot stronger from NesTea. He can defend against drops reasonably well, and MVP is going to have a hard time pushing.
Now, what does MVP really got to do here, Sean? You've been in these situations before in tournaments. You're down, you're coming from the loser's bracket, you're playing against the best Zerg in the world. What does he have to do for himself?
Well, the big thing that you definitely do not want to do if you're in an MVP situation is try to do something too over-aggressive in game one. If you are down already one best-of-3 in the finals, and you're starting the first best-of-3 down 0-1, it's very easy to go completely down and out. You want to play a nice, long, normal macro game for your first game just so you get a lot of comfort. MVP, though, is no stranger to pressure or stress, so I imagine he'll be playing in top form.
We see MVP sending out two Marines. He does find the Overlord. Uh-oh.
That's a great play by MVP. He's going to supply block NesTea right off the bat. NesTea has not yet even begun to make another backup Overlord. Looks like it's getting down 35 health, 23-11.
And it falls.
See you later, Overlord. MVP with a nice early advantage.
Now we see him at 28 of 20 supply. The other Overlord just now started. He's not going to be able to drone up anymore. He probably will have to tech. We might see maybe another expansion as well. We see the factory switching with the racks there, so we should see some Hellions coming out, and there they are, Sean.
Double Hellion incoming and a Mule. Oh my God, that is brilliant.
Wow.
A Mule.
Explain that, Sean. Why would a Mule be out in the center of the base?
A Mule brings back triple the income of your average SCV. And what happens is if it's bringing back that huge surge of minerals and it dies on its way back from that final return, then you've wasted about 30 minerals because it never quite got back to the command center. So if you are smart and if you are sharp, right when that Mule gets down to about 5-second life remaining, you just pull it off, let it die, and get yourself extra 30 minerals for the course of the gameplay.
That is some definitive top-level play here coming out of MVP. He does have map control with these two Hellions. He will move over into the base of NesTea here at the natural, but there's a Spine Crawler to defend against it. He's going to have some hard time as one of the Hellions does take a little bit of damage.
Oh, a little bit of nerve issues. MVP didn't play with Legos enough as a child and missed that factory land. Didn't connect it to that tech lab, but now he's getting the Blue Flame upgrade.
Interesting.
Going to be transitioning straight into a solid map control play. I mean, he saw NesTea go mass Zerglings against him in game one. Why not prepare that sort of counterplay in this first match as well?
See a lot of Lings already out for NesTea. Speed just now finishing. Here comes MVP trying to get into the Peon line. He gets a big attack there, but is he going to get surrounded, Sean?
Oh, MVP's pulling back. He's surrounded, and he whiffs on the fire. And can he manage to get the Zerglings back? They're all very low on health.
He's two left. Oh, there's the surround, and it gets cleaned up, Sean. NesTea just performing so well in defense, and there's the hat trick to seal off that wall.
Oh, I think you are absolutely dead on, JP. It looks like NesTea will be going for that big Ling Infester play, and it is going to run headlong into the best response possible by MVP, but MVP is very low on that supply count. He's already 12 supply behind his opponent. So that could spell a lot of trouble, regardless of the fact that he has so many Blue Flame Hellions.
If we take a look at the units, NesTea at 43 drones right now, MVP at 29 FCVs. How does NesTea find the time to drone like that? He has so many Lings already out on the field. That is basically never missing a single larva inject.
Absolutely not. I mean, he just cannot mess up his fundamentals. NesTea is just showing incredible form, and oh, there's the reveal of the Blue Flame Hellions. That will definitely make NesTea feel a little bit more leery, but look at this, JP. Researching the +1 missile attack upgrade. That is a very, very surprising move.
And here come the Blue Flames. They're going to be easily able to pass that spine crawler. Now they're in the drone line. Uh-oh, he's lining them up.
He's lining them up, JP, and oh no! Not where you want to go with the drones, NesTea. He's trying to find any angle that he can.
17 drones down, 20 drones down. It's still going 24.
Can he get one more shot? And it looks like, sneaking into the main. 24 drones down. That is a very large blue line.
Might even get a couple more, Sean. Nope, that Hellion does fall. We look at the supply count now. 39 drones, 38 for MVP. He's tied up with the drone count. You see a Spire started there for NesTea.
And it looks like NesTea spotted the fact that there are factories producing mass Hellions in the middle of the map. The expansion is up for MVP in that unit counting station. 42 drones from NesTea to the 40 from MVP. An incredible display of that drone timing you were talking about, JP, after taking 24 a medevac drop. Sneaking in, the drones try to block it, but MVP showing incredible control. He's slipping around the backside and does manage to retreat in time. He is now up to 30 workers kill total.
And that is something that is not typical of NesTea. If there's anyone that has the crisis management to not lose a single drone in this matchup, it is NesTea, because he's done it before, Sean.
And we're seeing a little bit of uncharacteristic sloppiness from NesTea, getting these 2 evolution chambers and not yet researching that +1 carapace out of his second Evo chamber. Now the Spire is almost done, and MVP's in a very dangerous position if he does not spot this Spire soon.
Now, we just saw MVP check for the third base of NesTea. He didn't find anything, and in response, we see a third command center of his own. The Spire is about to finish. Looks like he'll be able to produce about 8 Mutalisks, but here comes another drop in the main, Sean.
There he is, dropping down, starting to do some damage. Can he get that many more drones? And it looks like he's managing to pick off a few. A great surround by NesTea. Almost no damage dealt. And we do see those 2 armories in production for MVP, so he can get those essential double upgrades, but he desperately needs to begin adding on Thors, because it looks like 8 Mutalisks are about to happen, and he scans and sees the Mutalisks.
And he actually has 0 missile turrets, no engineering bay either, so the only thing that he can really defend against this is going to be a single Viking, and one of them's dying right there. The other one's coming out of the starport, Sean. Those mutas could do a lot of damage.
Oh, but MVP, it looks like
the Hellions.
MVP now trying to do the counterattack. He's trying to force the Mutalisks to pull back, and it looks like MVP is not pulling back. And wow, he is going directly into the main. There's attempted surround, but there's massive damage being dealt by MVP. NesTea now also swinging into the main base, where there is a single Viking, and the turrets desperately try to get planted.
We see the Hellions are still roasting all these drones. Is he gonna? Oh, they're lining up.
No!
Oh, there's a big one. And what are the Mutalisks up to, Sean, there? You see the missile turrets trying to get finished, but NesTea is just doing so much damage with these mutas.
Oh, NesTea trying to control as best he can in the main, but the Mutalisks are still ripping apart MVP's main. 55 workers have been killed by MVP, and it looks like in that unit tab, they're still very even in that worker count. NesTea has been unable to break through that line with that many missile turrets, and it's only a matter of moments before that first Thor pops down.
This is so smart. NesTea taking out the tech lab so that those Thors cannot be reproduced, but here he goes. He's still focusing down. Oh, a ton of SCVs coming to repair.
A nice big Thor shot lands on that pack of Mutalisks. And MVP has successfully defended this Mutalisk counterattack from NesTea.
Now, Sean, if you pull up the workers kill tab, 55 drones have been killed, and somehow NesTea still has the higher drone count right now in this match.
That's actually absurd. He's made already nearly 100 drones, and he is shirking it off like it's nothing. Another attempted swing.
Ooh, that was a big shot there on those mutas.
Yeah, those Thors can do incredible damage from such a sick range. And now it looks like NesTea not going to rely on any more surprises, going to back up and do that solid, stable, big Roach play.
And the orbital will have to be lifted because Mutas are here, but it will not start to burn. Whoa. Looks like the Thors will chase it away. And NesTea's being so careful with these Mutas, as he really has to be. He cannot lose those and lose the map control right now, as MVP is going to be trying to deny the third base with those Hellions, maybe just doing a straight run into the natural.
Yeah, the Hellions definitely going to be a nice tool for MVP at this phase in the game. Obviously, they're going to have to run away from the Mutalisks, but it's fairly difficult to really prevent them from poking in at these expansions. I mean, if you come to the unit tab, it's 12 Mutalisks and a Roach. That's it for NesTea. He is up to 71 drones. Wow. Again, an absolute genius when it comes to sneaking in those extra drones, but MVP, oh wow, has 4 Thors already. That is speaking of lining up, JP, a whole slew of drones get roasted at the front gates, and it looks like 61 drones now down, but with this many Thors being constructed, MVP is saying that he wants to attack very soon.
And here comes MVP. Is he going to be moving out or just securing kind of this middle area between his 3 bases? We'll find out in just a couple of seconds. The Mutas, though, are about to find these Hellions and actually do a lot of damage to them. The Thors are very far behind, taking out an Overlord, and these Hellions are just getting destroyed, Sean.
These Hellions really need to stay alive. This is the extra little bit of damage boost that he needs, and it looks like slowly but surely the Mutalisk count is being whittled down by MVP's massive amount of Thors. We see all the SCVs coming to the front lines to repair, and nothing but Thors being produced from MVP. And look at the rally points. He is going straight onto his own units. MVP wants to end this game right now.
And NesTea is actually supply capped, so he cannot build any more units, Sean. This is going to be a huge attack for MVP.
And it looks like there's the Spinecrawler's taking a lot of damage, and MVP just running into the front lines with those Thors. He has more Thors in the back. A 5th one coming to the front lines. A nice time scan by MVP reveals that NesTea's unit count is not nearly as high as he'd like, and this is a lot of vulnerable drones. A single Roach is there to defend.
Is he going to be able to save these drones? Looks like he will not move in with the Hellions. He's a little bit nervous about doing that, but he has a great spread with these Thors and the tanks behind, and here come the Hellions, Sean.
Oh, and it looks like all the drones coming into the fray. Great control by MVP.
But the Mutas, Sean, the Mutas are across the map. Oh no!
Can he manage to eliminate that many Mutalisks? There are Roaches coming in, but the tanks are doing massive damage, and MVP cleans it up.
Only has a handful of Roaches left. Looks like he will be able to take this out. 14 more Roaches about to pop, but that is so many tanks, Sean, and these 2 Thors with so many SCVs repairing it.
And it looks like MVP gently, slowly, assuredly moving forward with those siege tanks. His 3rd expansion has been established. With that many Roaches coming out from NesTea, he may be able to pull a miracle. Missile turrets being planted at the front lines, drones rapidly falling. MVP is in a dominating position to win this game.
MVP is setting up shop here with those missile turrets, but NesTea is not done yet. He's moving forward with all of his Roaches, doing his best to take out one of the Thors, but there is still 2 more. The other one, no, is it going to fall? No, it's getting saved by the SCVs.
He manages to keep it alive. And it looks like despite losing 2 quick games in the winner's bracket final, MVP is here to put on a show, terrorizing his 3rd expansion of NesTea. It is fallen. MVP now has the lead in expansions, and the game goes to him.
Can MVP start the comeback, Sean? He just took the 1st game. If he can actually come back and force this into a 2nd set, that will be the stuff of legend, Sean.
I mean, it's so true. In this tournament structure, MVP needs to win 2 best-of-3s because he came from the lower bracket. NesTea, on the other hand, needs to win only 1 best-of-3, and MVP's only 1 game away from resetting the series and making it a single best-of-3 remaining. Any MVP fans happy to see the result of last game?
Now,
MVP
Sean,
staying focused.
We're going to be headed to the Shattered Temple next.
Wow.
And if we actually get those close by ground spawns, it's going to be really hard, I would say, for MVP, because NesTea just performed so well the last time that happened.
Yeah, and I really think that MVP will have to be very careful when considering his early opening build order. I mean, normally when players say, I'm going to do different strategies, they usually refer to just the very start of the game. But some of the best players in the world instead have a lot of transitions for way later. MVP is the perfect example of that. In the first 2 games, going for those Marine tank mixes. In the most recent game that we just saw, opening up with that same fast Hellion play and then making nothing but factory units. Very, very strong. Both players are ready to go, and the match is going to be Shatter Temple. You guys ready for game 2?
All right, Sean. Hey, come on, get excited, guys. This is the grand finals of Blizzcon, MVP versus NesTea.
Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen, because the match is now loading. NesTea 2 games away from winning the entire tournament. MVP 1 game away from resetting the series.
And here we go, Sean. Not close by ground. This is actually the best possible stuff, but it is going to be close by air. Now, who would you think this is going to favor? Is it going to favor MVP with the drops or NesTea with the easy access into MVP's main?
It's all going to come down to what strategy NesTea wants to use, Infestor-based or Mutalisk-based. In the north position, we have the best Terran player in the world, currently 1 game away from pushing this to another best of 3. It is IM's MVP.
And over here in the east, as the red Zerg, if he can come back and win this, he's still got 1 more game to win BlizzCon 2011 from Team IM. It is NesTea.
And while this match is getting started, I'd like to give an extra special shout out to the other casting duo who brought you the action here at BlizzCon, to Tasteosis, ladies and gentlemen, for all their charm and wit and dashing good looks. Thank you.
All right, so is NesTea going to be going for that hatch first, Sean? Does he have the larva? Nope. Yep. Looks like we are going to see hatch first coming out of NesTea. Not really a big surprise, though.
But a very interesting decision on the Overlord scout patterns from NesTea. He's sending his second Overlord to the closest position as opposed to the first. At this point in time, MVP is going to assume my opponent must not be at the right spot because that Overlord has not arrived yet. This guarantees NesTea the opportunity to plant down hatchery number 1.
Now, he has seen his Terran opponent, but MVP, I believe, did not see that Overlord, so he's still playing somewhat in the dark right there, as NesTea does have his natural hatchery, and we're going to have to see how many drones he actually goes up before placing down that spawning pool. Looks like it was pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally typical nowadays to see players building as many drones as they can. Those drones, interestingly, are actually quite strong in one-on-one combat against Marines and other small units, so most players are relying a little bit more on that, but NesTea instead getting the extractor up early, and as a result, he can begin getting that Zergling speed ASAP.
Now, Sean, what did you think last game of MVP's mech play? That's something that you really don't see too much in the TVZ matchup, especially here at BlizzCon. Players like Select favoring that Marine tank play. What did you think of the mech play from MVP?
I absolutely thought it was a brilliantly executed mech play. Mech, on average, very, very strong, much stronger in direct confrontations than many infantry compositions. But the real problem you have with mech is that it is so immobile. The siege tanks have to latch themselves to the ground, cannot move when they are in their best attacking state. Thors are so slow, but MVP was able to turn that on its head by building so many Thors pushed with almost no tanks, and managed to do a very, very early attack timing that caught NesTea off guard. I'm really interested to see if he'll favor that again, as these players are fairly close.
Looks like MVP will be opening up with the reactored Hellions like we saw last game. Now, is he going to be going and getting the Blue Flame upgrade? We'll have to kind of wait and see. Should be seeing another command center. There it is, actually just north of the factory and the racks. And we see these 2 Marines moving out, once again trying to catch an Overlord, but it looks like they're going to be saving this SCV at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great, great way to open up in this matchup. 2 Marines going straight for the Hellions. You get such control. Tech Lab planted at the barracks. We still don't really know what MVP's transition is going to be, whether he'll be favoring many Marines, many Marauders, perhaps getting up a very, very early tank. We're seeing, oh, there's 2 more Hellions, and look at this, JP. Yet another fast Roach Warren from NesTea.
Uh-oh, but he is actually droned up pretty big at the natural hatchery, so won't be going for a 2-base all-in, at least right now he won't. But here come the 2 Hellions from MVP. They do meet the Queen, getting him off free for just a couple of seconds. And with good control, Hellions can actually kill a Queen in low numbers, but you got to be very, very careful to not get surrounded by the Lings.
And will MVP make any more? It looks like he is doing the swap. It looks like he will be going for Marines and tanks. I would not be surprised to see a 3rd command center planted by MVP very soon. He will begin, yep, there's the Marine tank going down. There's the orbital command follow-up, and MVP going to continue to control this map. And whoa, a Baneling nest planted by NesTea.
Uh-oh, well, we'll have to see what he's going to be using the Banelings for, but the 4 Hellions are still poking away at this Queen. It's getting pretty low right now. He's got to be careful. There are roaches out. He should bring those up to the front of his army, as we do see him doing that, and they're going to chase away those Hellions.
2 more barracks planting for IM MVP. He'll be getting tech labs on those and begin getting all those essential upgrades. Second orbital command is done, but MVP is not ready to move out quite yet. It looks like NesTea might be trying to go for an early attack timing. Look at that, 22 Zerglings in production. NesTea has a fast win on his mind.
Now the Hellions are trying to find the best point of entry. Oh, but he catches some of the Lings off in the open field. He's chasing them down. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch up, though. They do have that metabolic boost upgrade, Sean.
That's exactly what he wants to do, is to try to keep those Zergling numbers low. And oh, this could be a huge missed up from MVP. The Banelings are getting morphed. MVP needs to not lift up those supply depots.
If he moves down here, he's going to run head first into those Banelings. But do the tanks have siege mode? No, he does not. It's only halfway complete right now. Still has about 40 seconds to finish. The orbital command is finished. Here come the Banelings, though, Sean.
Oh, and it looks like he will not have siege mode done, and the front has been broken, but the siege tank's doing a lot of damage, and NesTea now having to pull over all those Zerglings, the SCVs now. Wow, an easy cleanup by MVP.
And there are still some units coming across, but MVP holding that without losing all that much. Only those 2 supply depots. Now he's going to take his natural pretty easily. We see that NesTea is preparing to take a third, taking out those destructible rocks, but MVP is actually pushing cross-map, Sean.
A really bold play by MVP, and why he is the best timing attack player you will ever see. He's moving out not because anything special happened on his end, but because he knows that Zerg is going to have a hard time defending anything after an attack like that.
This is something that he did to Sin earlier today, but here comes NesTea trying to get him with his Lings, and he does before the siege tanks get into siege mode. One of the siege tanks is down, but the other will still remain in. NesTea might just lose here, Sean. He does have a lot of things popping out. Are they going to be out in time, Sean?
A completely different MVP attended this finals. He is ready to bring it to set number 2. Just needs to continue to press on forward. But NesTea has such incredible precise defense. It still may be enough on NesTea's end.
He gets one of the Queens. Now NesTea looks like he's just kind of misrallied there as the forces are stumbling in ever so slowly. The siege tank is still alive. 17 HP. There's the mule landing. He's going to use that to repair that siege tank.
I
if he can keep this up, Sean.
JP, I think we might get the chance to see these 2 players play in another best of 3. The siege tank continuing to advance forward. The third has not even been started by NesTea. Back home in MVP's base, Marines tanks continuing to be rallied. The third expansion hardly.
Here come the drones, Sean. This is it. Can NesTea take out MVP's forces, pulling back the drones? He does not have enough roaches. I think we may be going to the next set.
And it looks like repairing that one as best as he can. The drones coming into the siege tank. The Marines continuing to micro backwards.
Can he keep the siege tank alive? GG, we're going to another set, Sean.
MVP pulling it back with a 2-0 dominating performance, answering NesTea's crushing 2-0 in the winner's bracket final with a 2-0 of his own. In the north spot, the man who looked so futile in his winner's bracket match, but showed a dominating performance to reset the series. It is IM's MVP.
And in the south, the man who won the first time these 2 met, but lost the second time. Can he come back and win this? We'll have to see from Team IM. It is NesTea.
What was so weird to me about watching MVP play in that first game on Antigua Shipyard is that he was very aggressive with those Hellions, running them into positions where they clearly would die off, and he would need to kill a lot of drones to have justified such a big loss of those Hellions. And still, MVP correctly did that every single time. MVP rarely ever makes those kind of plays, instead opting to conserve his units rather than hoping for those big kills.
Now, what do you do right now in NesTea's position? You're in the second set here in the grand finals. You lost the first set. Do you go out of the ordinary and go for an all-in, or do you just play normally like you did last series?
NesTea, I think, was having a little bit too much ease of mind in those last sets. He was doing these goofy, silly moves like adding on Roach Warren, canceling it, and trying to get some surprise Mutalisks into the fray. That can work against some players, but I absolutely don't think it would work against MVP. Same story with the surprise attack in game number 2. NesTea needs to rely on his strength, the long-term macro game, but it looks like MVP is going to answer with some macro of his own. How about a command center first, ladies and gentlemen?
And that is some stuff that I love to see, Sean. No aggression. We're going to see a macro-oriented game here for the first game of this second set.
MVP was going to have himself a massive economy and might even add on a reactor, excuse me, a assimilator, a refinery. Look, he wants gas, damn it, but no, he's going to build a barracks first. And down in NesTea's main, yep, getting that early extractor as well himself.
Yeah, nothing crazy coming out of NesTea. What we really have to pay attention to is how many drones he builds at his natural. If he doesn't make too many, he might go for a big all-in like we saw the first time these two met on Shattered Temple.
Double barracks play from MVP, and this is always what really excites me. We're seeing a lot of players rely on those Blue Flame Hellion mid games. Very strong opening, but it is always something special to see the way MVP can be so precise with his marine control. Almost up to 19 food, but he's not actually going to build that one supply depot because look at the timing of this last command center that's going to be popping up. It will align nicely with this barracks.
Now, with this early expansion, is he going to try to put some pressure on as well with this 2 racks? Or will he just kind of sit back and possibly maybe even get a third if he sees his opponent playing a little bit passive?
I mean, I actually think that what MVP will likely end up doing is taking a very early 3rd command center. This composition of 2 barracks can get him a good amount of Marines to defend kind of an open space. 1 barracks would be fine in this semi-closed space, but I very much so love the way that MVP is extremely liberal with planting down those future expansions.
We see 2 more racks going down for MVP.
Wow.
This is something I have seen him do before. He's going to have a ton of Marines and probably push forward and try to catch his opponent off guard. As we see the command center lifted now, will be landing at the natural. Meanwhile, over in camp NesTea, he is continuing to drone, but he's also getting the metabolic boost upgrade. Of course, speed for the Lings, but we'll see how long he actually drones, Sean.
Now NesTea continuing to drone in that unit station. Like you said, 2 Zerglings, 2 Queens are out. 3rd Queen incoming. NesTea now getting ready to start expanding that creep. He's also moving Overlords into those key positions on the map to spot for drops. NesTea never misses a beat with those Overlords. Meanwhile, in the main, we see that the 4 barracks are finishing up. MVP could potentially go for an almost exclusively Marine Marauder composition, but I still am leaning more towards him, favoring a very early 3rd command center.
NesTea droning this entire time. Looks like he will be going to take his 3rd as the drone does move out, and we see that hatchery already in place right there at his 3rd base. Meanwhile, we still have a lot of Marines coming out for MVP. Total of 9 right now. We do also have a tech lab finished. What upgrade will he be getting? Probably going to be stim pack, I would think.
There's the stim going down.
Oh, so stim builds right there, and he does have another tech lab actually.
Wow, 2 Marauders as well. MVP is gearing up to be very aggressive. Again, quite uncommon with the way his style plays out. NesTea expectedly taking that early 3rd hatchery, but he's got to get a good amount of Banelings to be able to hold off this push that's coming from MVP. But remember, the strength of NesTea is his timings for defense. He'll definitely be able to have enough Banelings up in time.
Yeah, we see him already stockpiling that gas. Probably won't see him use too much of it. There's a 4th hatch going up at his natural. Love to see those macro hatches as well as the evolution chamber. Meanwhile, over at MVP space, he's still continuing to add on a lot of Marines as well as some Marauders. He's getting that combat shield, getting that stim pack. We might see a big timing attack here from MVP.
MVP is literally doing nothing but making workers, Marines, and Marauders. He's starting to gear up for a huge push, but NesTea is in perfect position to repel it. He's getting his layer up. He's getting these macro hatches up. His Evo chambers are just now beginning to research those Zergling upgrades as his extractor count begins to climb high. It's going to get increasingly dangerous for MVP the longer the game goes on.
Now, Sean, just look at the 2 Queens here at the natural and the main of NesTea. I don't think he's missed a single larva inject thus far in the game.
I literally think NesTea has had perfect larva injects every single time, but now NesTea sees what's coming at him. It is a big Marine Marauder force. And look at this brilliance by MVP.
So
He's
smart.
leading with a smaller amount of Marines. And what will NesTea see? Only this few Marines.
Now, we do have 4 Banelings being morphed right here at the natural, but Producing 26 lings. Are they going to be out in time? I'm not so sure. We do have Stim very close to being finished, as well as the combat shield. This is going to be a very, very important attack right now in this game, Sean.
Still 20 seconds to go for that Stim pack to finish up. A nice scan by MVP. He's spreading everything out. This is a lot of Banelings from NesTea, and he's slowly going to climb in Zergling count as well. But MVP knows that he really can't push until he has Stim. He may go for this swing around attack, though, but he's got to be careful. All his units are clustering up.
Like he's going to start on these destructible rocks, and what is NesTea going to do? He's still waiting just a little bit. I'm not sure if you can actually see this. MVP spreading his Marine and Marauders out as best as he can. NesTea's holding steady, though. The scan comes down. He sees the entire army.
Oh my gosh, MVP sees everything. But right now, NesTea is in a good position. He has those upgrades, and he has the centrifugal hooks. The speed upgrade for Baneling started. And look at this brilliance by MVP. He is just going to pull back. Oh no, this is a great move by MVP. He sees everything that's coming out, and he is going to pull back. That is the trademark MVP play. He moves out, forces his opponent to waste probably 20 to 30 larvae right there, just making units. And in that time, absolutely no drones could be made by NesTea. MVP is going to pull back and do a stronger follow-up push.
115 supply right now for NesTea, 95 for MVP, 73 total drones already for NesTea. That is so many drones here, only at the 10-minute mark. 46 SCVs there for MVP, and he's just going to fall back. Do we have some medevacs coming out? Yes, we do. He might go for some drops, but NesTea already has some spine crawlers in place at his main and I believe at his natural.
MVP at this point in time desperately needs to add reactors onto these barracks. There comes a point where your income exceeds the amount that you can produce out of all your buildings. And the easiest way for Terran to do this is to build a lot of barracks early with no reactors, and then simply get reactors up, and then you can easily catch up in your production. But the problem is, you actually need to have a good timing window when those reactors are producing, as they do take that very long 50 seconds to build.
Looks like NesTea does want to attack, but he's got to wait for those Mutalisks to come out. He's sitting here in the middle of the map with his Lings, with his Banelings that do have the +1 upgrade, so that is going to be very, very beneficial. And NesTea's moving forward a little bit more with his Lings and Banelings. The scan does come down, but
oh
Sean,
my gosh.
Is he going to move in with those? It looks like he did catch a couple of Marines off guard.
Caught
He's
a
not going to
small
pull the
troop
Banelings
off
in.
guard, and we see here's the drop. MVP is starting to fall way behind in that worker count. There's all the, oh wow, a lot of reactors getting planted. MVP also takes out a single Overlord.
We see the drone is coming in here. It is quite far away though, but this drop will get cleaned up. He needs to make sure that the Ling's go in first so he doesn't lose too much HP on those Mutas, but MVP's controlling so well, he can't actually get the surround here with the Lings he picks up. Here come the Mutalisks.
And it looks like, is MVP actually going to pull this one off? He's unloading, he picks off one. He does manage to get, maybe he can get a second one.
Now I think we might see a big attack here from NesTea. Already up to 12 Mutas, 3 more on the way, 30 Lings in production right now. How many Banelings does he have, Sean? Only 21, but that is almost all you need right now.
Only 21 Banelings.
Well, if you remember right, I mean, NesTea's the kind of guy that's done 100 before, Sean.
That is true, but I still felt that that was very Bill Gates of you. What do you have, only 3 Rolls Royces? 21 Banelings, that's plenty Banelings. 100 Zerglings, pretty good as well. And right now, these Mutalisks trying to also chip away at those destructible rocks, and MVP is in amazing defensive position. NesTea is maxed. 196, 199, 200, and he is going in for it.
He's trying to get a tank. He does get one. Is that all that he wants, or does he want some more? He's trying to find the point of entry into the main base. But, oh, there we go, Sean. 14 more Banelings in production.
Perfect.
This is what I'm talking about.
Always part of a healthy diet. Banelings have a lot of vitamin B12. In other words, they really wake you up, JP. Wah, wah, wah. We also see the Marine production continuing to go out as fast as possible. And here's the big push from NesTea.
Is it going to be enough? All the siege tanks are almost gone. NesTea is destroying MVP right here, Sean.
Domination.
There is a Thor up on the high ground, but he's going to deny the third base of MVP.
The poor mules get surrounded, cleaned up. Marines trying to move forward, but the Baneling numbers so high. Doing a good job continuing to pick those off. One hit does manage to land, and the command center falls.
And you know that Thor is still there. He doesn't want to move in just yet with all those Mutas, but he has a ton of Lings coming cross map, Sean.
NesTea taking the entire map, overrunning the front lines in the center. and the bottom and the right. Expansions everywhere.
Should be
very little that he can do. Marines continuing to pop out. The Thor desperately trying to repair.
Should be seeing a GG here, I would think, pretty soon. MVP is just so far down. 165 supply, 67 for MVP. The Thor is still alive, though.
An incredible defense
if he takes out those
by MVP.
mutas,
Oh,
there's the Thor falling.
Marines now come out
GG.
again. And good game.
NesTea, is he going to be able to come back and win this, Sean?
NesTea showing such solid Zerg Burst Terran play. I mean, you think about the way MVP intended to open up. MVP said, I'm going to move out with a bunch of Marines, Marauders early on, force you to not build those drones. And even after all that early pressure, MVP was still behind NesTea by 20 full workers after that attack faltered. So that means that NesTea is one game away from a $50,000 first place prize, and MVP would be heartbroken to lose two major championships one day after the other. Can MVP take a win in this wide open space where the Ling Muta Baneling action can rip Terran players apart? If you want the underdog of this event to pull through, the best Terran player in the world, JP, and he's actually an underdog, I kid you not. If you'd like him to pull back and make the 2-0 comeback, give a cheer for IM's MVP.
And the best macro Zerg that I have ever seen last game came out of NesTea on that last map. If you would like NesTea to win this and win BlizzCon, go ahead and give a cheer, guys. I think we got some NesTea fans out there, Sean.
I understand people are here for NesTea. And there's one guy out there who's never played StarCraft 2, and he's like, I love drinking NesTea, it's delicious. And there we see drones continuing to be made, no shenanigans by either player. MVP going for the usual wall off. I very much so expect him to fall back on that very typical reactor Hellion opening. The big reason MVP's play faltered last game is that he could not deny that fast third expansion from NesTea. Literally incapable of applying any pressure in the slightest.
Now, Sean, you've been in the position right now where you're one game away from winning the entire tournament. Are nerves really a factor at this point for you, or do you just simply not think about it?
Weirdly enough, one of the hardest things to do is to play well when you are extremely far ahead. If you think about the way that any practice match goes when you're at home, you never have an inner monologue when you're playing against some no-name on the ladder. But when you're up on the big stage, suddenly your brain starts thinking about things like, man, what will I do when I get that win? What am I going to say? I can't believe I might actually win this tournament. And all those thoughts can distract you so much. NesTea absolutely must not lose his cool. But MVP is the one I'm really worried about. He must not begin doubting himself after those incredible first two games. He did manage to take a loss in the last set, but he could pull through and do a 2-1 comeback very easily.
Now we see NesTea just now getting his gas, Sean. What does that really signify? That is a little bit later than we have seen in the other games.
Well, it looks like he might be favoring drones a little bit more, but for the most part, any early gas will almost always be for that fast +1 Zergling speed, especially in these cross-mapped positions.
It's like MVP has seen his opponent, has seen the hatchery, and back at MVP's base, we do see that reactor onto the racks and also the factory. So we will be seeing Hellions here to open up from the Terran player.
This is MVP's most used and most stable opening. NesTea also adding on those two queens, the two Zerglings, getting the drones. Interestingly enough, one of the biggest, most flustering things you can be up against is a player who literally makes no change in a very solid opening. NesTea, absolutely perfect execution in the opening stages of the game. Knows exactly when to get larva injects, when to get creep tumors, knows exactly how many Zerglings to make, never misses a larva inject, and that can be very intimidating if you're MVP.
I love this play from MVP. Every game sending out only 2 Marines, but that will force at least one set of lanes out of his opponent, and he's done it every game. That one game even picked off an Overlord, so it's so smart to see him doing that.
This is actually brilliant by MVP. This person should be dead right now. This is like the Jack Bauer SCV. This is actually impossible.
See, MVP's expansion started as well, but we have those Hellions now popping out. Only 2 of them. Will he wait for the other 2? Looks like he will send those cross map. You see the spine crawler going down here at the ramp of NesTea. He's also droned a decent amount at his natural.
Gosh, that was fast reaction from MVP. The Zergling stepped forward, instant micro by the Marines, and he picks it off. And again, that is one of the most important concepts in all of StarCraft 2, and especially real-time strategy games, map control. Look at NesTea. No vision anywhere on the map save this one single vulnerable Overlord. NesTea is playing completely in the dark, whereas MVP has vision extending all the way to the front of his opponent's base.
Now, the big question here is MVP got to try to sneak by the Spine Crawler into the natural, or really just kind of contain his opponent right now and make sure that Creep Tumor cannot get any further out in the map. Uh-oh, looks like he was thinking about it. NesTea does have a drone in place, and there's that hatchery that we've seen him do so many times, Sean.
It looks like NesTea going to be doing the mass Zergling play. Very excited to see how that's going to pan out. And MVP going for the very mobile Marine tank play. I can't believe that both these players are actually doing zero aggression to one another at this point. This means that this match is guaranteed to go on for quite some time. We're really going to see both of these players in their purest of comfort zones.
Now, Sean, how hard is it for NesTea to really take a third in these positions? I mean, he's very susceptible to drops. That gold is going to be obviously a little bit of a pain to take out with those destructible rocks. Where do you see him actually taking a third?
I mean, I definitely think NesTea is almost forced to take this bottom right as his third, though these destructible rocks might seem like a big opening for MVP to swing in the early game. It's largely all about the Zergling counterattacks. And look at this MVP going to move out. He doesn't have siege mode done. This is an absolutely stunning attack timing by MVP that could completely catch NesTea off guard. He only just now has begun making Zerglings. He has 16 on the map. What an absolutely stunning attack timing. NesTea has zero idea because he has no map control at all.
You see him even denying a lot of these creep tumors here. That third hatch does finish. MVP is going to set up shop here. Siege mode very close to being finished though. So he needs to just wait a little bit longer. There's the bunker going down right at the edge of the creep. One of the Spine Crawlers moving up, Sean.
And it looks like it's moving up a little bit too early. Oh no, he has to cancel NesTea with the critical mistiming. MVP has found a brilliant moment to advance forward. The siege tanks in a great spot. The Zerglings do not get the best surround. The siege tanks rip everything apart. MVP has done an absolutely incredible push.
Oh, and that Spine Crawler trying to burrow, but it will survive just a little bit longer. One of the Queen's falls. He will be able to take the rest out, though. Spine Crawler does get burrowed, but it's very, very low. This hatchery has taken a ton of damage from these two tanks. Look at the siege tank placement, Sean, just a little bit south there, right underneath that tree. That is so hard for NesTea to actually do anything about right now on his tech.
And now it looks like NesTea is forced to make only Zerglings at this point in time. His layer is up, his drone count high, but for once NesTea's drone timing boldness has come back to bite him in this match. He made far too many workers and not enough units, and this absolutely, completely brilliant attack timing by MVP has caught NesTea off guard. That is one of the earliest, weirdest push timings I've ever seen. And look at this defense by MVP. He is absolutely impregnable at the front of his base as well.
See a handful of Lings here in the center of the map, but they really can't do much with those units back, as now the Hellions are going to start chasing them down, Sean.
Gosh, MVP cleaning up in mid.
Here we go, Sean, at the natural. NesTea is going for it. He's going to try to take out these tanks.
Look at the units lost tab. Almost nothing lost by MVP. Absolute domination by MVP. Cannot believe how brilliant he is playing in this second game.
67 supply, 89 right now for MVP. He is just destroying NesTea's natural right now. Looks like NesTea might try one last attack. Here he goes, pulling the links, pulling the drone, sending everything in. But I don't know if it's going to be enough, Sean. We might be going to a game 3 here at the grand finals.
And MVP's tank positioning. His Marines have just finished the combat shield upgrade. NesTea cannot believe it, and good game. And are you ready to make some noise? The grand final of Blizzcon 2011 could not have had a better story. Everything comes down to one single game. If MVP wins, then he is the champion. If NesTea wins, then he is the champ. Let's hop in to the final match of the BlizzCon Invitational. Now, I want the crowd to be as quiet as possible. I'm actually going to pull my headphones away. All right, good. You're being very quiet. In the top left corner, he was dominated in the winner's bracket final, but he came back in the first best of 3 to tie it up 1-1 and has now pushed it to a final game 3. If you would like him to win, give a cheer for the underdog in this series, IM's MVP!
story here. The player who was in the winner's bracket final defeating MVP came up in this match, lost the first set. Can he actually pull it back here and defeat his friend? It is I Am NesTea.
Though almost everybody would go for that early expand, MVP no, even on Shakura's plateau. He wants to favor that double Hellion opening. NesTea going for the early expand like clockwork will be getting that pool, that gas, that hatch up at the exact same time as he has optimized that opening as best he can.
Now, Sean, I really want to get inside the head of these two players. You've been in this situation before, in these boots, in the grand final. What is going through your head right now?
In NesTea's position, I'm going to be feeling really nervous. After that first game, I'm thinking to myself, if I push it to a long game, I'm going to be in great shape. But then after that second game, I'm realizing, oh my gosh, my teammate could come attack me at any point in time, and he could even expand anywhere on the map at any point in time. MVP has the full gamut of possibilities in his mid game. If I'm NesTea, I am praying I can get this match past 12 minutes.
Now, what about MVP's point of view, Sean?
I'm in MVP's spot, I think that I am starting to realize that I have a lot more momentum than I initially did. MVP went into this series after a really disheartening loss in the GSL finals, another disheartening loss in the winner's bracket finals, and he has pushed it all the way back to this final set. I think MVP can really dig deep and think to himself, I am capable of beating MVP in yet another best of 3.
And here we go, Sean. The action is already heating up. We do see a bunker at the natural from MVP, putting some pressure here onto NesTea.
Whoa. Looks like NesTea is getting caught a little bit off guard by this. This is the classic move that MVP is known for. This kind of bunker aggression, he wants to force more Zerglings, try to delay that spine crawler.
He's just going to fall back, Sean. He will be opening up with the reactor Hellion here. So we do see the reactor and, of course, that factory. But look how many drones he actually just forced for NesTea. He has a total of 6 out on the map right now. That is 3 possible drones that are no longer there.
And MVP brilliantly building up to 4 Marines. That means with proper control, he will be able to pick off all of these Zerglings. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Picking off the first front lines. Great play by MVP. And now MVP is going to force yet more Lings to be constructed for NesTea. And a little bit of desperation, one spine crawler is planted, and we see that Hellion, double Hellion play is coming up right now.
See a total, wow, all the way up to 10 Lings for these 4 Marines. That is 14
Whoa.
Lings. Is that an overreaction, Sean?
I almost feel like NesTea kind of has to do that. He doesn't really have that much of an idea of what his opponent's doing. He's only just found this gas geyser. He has no information in the slightest, and when these Hellions pop out, they're going to be able to do some massive damage to these Zerglings. NesTea's hoping to run along this south flank and catch everything off guard, and that would be his hope of getting that lead back early.
Command Center for MVP almost finished. He will be taking his expansion pretty soon. We see that Rax finishing the tech lab. We also have a couple of Hellions popping out here. Some Lings, though, for NesTea are being very sneaky here, Sean. We see Ling speed finished, and is he going to move in?
It looks like he's moving in, but with the mistiming, the Hellions just now getting to the front of the ramp. They will be able to clean up all the Marines, but we see those 2 supply depots lifted immediately, and NesTea is guaranteed to lose all these Zerglings now.
Really got to try to get us around, but I'm not sure if MVP is going to allow it. Here comes the 2 more Hellions. A lot of the Lings dying there. And that attack has been foiled from NesTea.
And look at this, the triple command center play from MVP. He is going for the long-term macro game again. Impossible to predict anything out of MVP's play, doing a huge variety of styles.
And that is a very, very quick lair coming out of NesTea right now. Still on 2 base. He has not that much gas stockpiled, but we do see the 2nd and 3rd and 4th extractor finished there. So we'll be, of course, moving the drones over. But this is looking kind of similar to the last game right now. He does have these 6 Hellions right now outside the ramp, but it's going to be very hard for him to push in.
MVP again, he's hardly even looking for an opportunity to attack. He is looking for an opportunity to slowly stockpile a lot of tanks, a lot of Marines at the front. He's just now getting stim. He'll be building a bunker. He'll be getting an engineering base shortly for those upgrades. And MVP is playing for the long-term, gigantic mid-game push. And how will NesTea answer? Will he go for that usual Spire? It looks like he's gearing up to do so.
We'll be waiting for that Spire to go down. The Bailey Nest about to finish. We still don't have that macro hatch. There it is, actually going down right now at the natural. Now that I talk about it. We see the +1 melee attacks upgrade started. And MVP's trying to get in here to the natural. That one queen is very low. Oh, 9 HP. Does not lose it, but it is very, very low.
And of course, because it's NesTea, that queen still had way more hit points than it had energy. Because NesTea literally never misses a larva inject, and this is quite an uncharacteristic move from NesTea. Getting an Overseer to just try to figure out what the heck MVP is doing, that is a real sign that NesTea is feeling quite rattled at this point in time.
Spire about halfway complete for NesTea, but he's still trapped here on these two bases simply because there's 6 Hellions outside. We see one lane come out just to check to see if they're still there, and of course they do take it out very easily.
This one command center is going to skyrocket the economy for MVP. If we actually come look at the worker count, NesTea has hardly been able to maintain much of a lead. He has 45 workers to 44. Almost always you will have far more workers in the Zerg camp than in any of the opposing teams. So we do see the siege tanks getting all the upgrades. Stim just now finishing up. Combat Shield will follow shortly. Must make certain he doesn't take too much damage from any Mutalisks.
Really wondering right now when NesTea is going to push out. He has 5 Mutalisks in production. The +1 melee upgrade should be finishing here. The Spine Crawler going down on the low ground. Will it be able to? It looks like it will burrow, but it could be very low HP.
Wow, it looks like MVP might just sit here and wail away on the Spine Crawler, but no, instead opting to take no damage, and now there's the time for MVP to have to deal with this runaround tactic by MVP. More barracks are going up, siege tanks are up, but there are no bunkers at the front. Ooh, MVP getting a little bit risky here. A single missile turret going up in the back. In production, we see only one missile turret is incoming. And here come the Mutalisks, and oh, MVP might be caught a little bit off guard.
If NesTea moves in, he would be able to deny that turret, and here he goes. Will he get in time? No! Oh, it finishes. NesTea has to fall back. That is too little Mutas to really deal with that at that point in time, so he will use those to go clean up these Hellions outside of his base.
NesTea is not down and out, but MVP is looking to slowly be in an increasingly dominating position. Now the Hellions are finally getting pushed back, but look at this great move by MVP, popping down here to the third base, but NesTea's a little bit too good for that. Cleans that Hellion up with ease. And when will MVP push out? I mean, I can tell you when your average player would move out, but MVP is anything but that. Ordinarily, players would start moving forward. He just, because he could, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's smart play, man. Use everything that you possibly can. Here come the Mutas. They are going to get in, but not going to be able to do much because the missile turret and those Marines with +1 upgrades will chase them off. Now, NesTea actually really hasn't done too much with those Mutas, and he really needs to start trying to do some more because if his opponent gets too far ahead right now economically, we see him actually taking the 3rd and 4th. Even he's a little bit worried about it, Sean.
And this is what makes NesTea such a difficult player in the late game. Look at how early he's planting these geysers down, so that way he can begin getting that gas income as quickly as he can. JP, this is the last match. Both players are at match points. Whoever wins this will be the champion and get $50,000. Whoever loses will get $25,000 second place prize and not a single more chance to do any better.
And both players are playing very, very kind of passively right now, being very careful as we see NesTea has he found an entry point.
Looks like a couple of Mutalisks getting caught off guard. He loses one for free. And we see MVP, per usual, taking virtually no damage from any harassment. Another factory about to finish up. There's another stim from MVP. We see the 2 engineering bays busily upgrading away. And these 4 Hellions are trying to find any opportunity they can to step into the fray. Thor's in production, Marines pouring out of all these barracks, but MVP has just, has actually stopped his SCV production. A little bit of a misstep. Wants to really get that high up so when he takes his 3rd base, he can get it up and operational right away. NesTea also skyrocketing with drones. 85 drones, 87, making more drones. Will likely turn those to Spine Crawlers eventually.
This is where I start getting a little bit nervous right now for MVP. He's still on 2 base. NesTea has taken the map. You see him slowly start to move out. Big stim there on the low ground, but NesTea sends the Mutas up to the high ground. Does take out that tank.
There's the Overseer trying to find anything he can to contaminate, but instead he splits into a bunch of icky gack and falls to the ground right where the orbital command's going to lay down.
Now, where is MVP going to fall out? We do see some Hellions here into the 3rd base. They aren't blue flame, though, so they're going to have to connect a little bit more.
And it looks like, he's lined him up. He gets a big shot if he can do one more. No.
He does not get it.
Almost
So,
nothing killed there by MVP.
Look at
4 workers total.
Yeah.
What?
That's NesTea, man. That's all you got to say, I guess.
MVP walling off the bottom with command centers. Lol. He'll probably be morphing these into orbital commands because, as we see again, he's fairly low on that SCV count, and he will rapidly expand his supply up with just infantry, tanks, Thors. This is slowly going to become a defensive nightmare for MVP, JP. I mean, how can you possibly cover this much space when there's Mutalisk and Speed Zerglings running around everywhere?
Yeah, this is kind of reminding me of Idra's play. This is something that he does almost every TVZ that he plays in, is this huge, huge focus on Mutalisk. And we see right now NesTea is about to pop into the natural. He will be able to take out those turrets pretty easily. Then he's going to start on those SCVs.
And it looks like no SCVs killed off there. There the first one is, and we're starting to see great volleys by NesTea. MVP looking to be in a lot of trouble coming up.
Looks like we are seeing NesTea's next move, as he does have the pathogen gland started. He's going to pop in here, take out that reactor. Smart play, because it does take so long to build. We also see that hive started as well. So, do you think we're going to be seeing Broodlords, or do you think we're going to be seeing Ultralisk?
I definitely think it will be the Brood Ward play. 100 drones on the field right now for NesTea, and you know what's the best thing to do with drones is? He's just going to go ahead and build himself a lot of spine crawlers.
Wow, actually, look at the mineral count right now for NesTea. 2,800 minerals. He is just having such a fun game right now. He can build whatever he wants, whenever he wants, Sean.
Mules, who needs them, right? Let's just get 100 drones. It's no big deal.
That's
I'll
the
build some
Zerg
spine
answer,
crawlers here. I can put some spine crawlers down here, and yeah, let's go ahead and pepper those in the middle as well.
See him still flying around with these mutas, now about to pop into the 4th base. And you know, there's not too many Marines here. He might be able to deny this entire base if he really stays there.
There's a planetary fortress. This suddenly, he is racing against the clock, desperately trying to get up. This planetary fortress, we see the Zerglings now swinging around to that bottom side. We see the Thor in a pretty good position. The Mutalist now walking through the middle. The Thor is vulnerable. And here comes the push from NesTea. He's trying to pick off everything that he can. This planetary fortress is nearing completion, and both players, I mean, come to the units lost tab. There's actually not that much that has been lost despite all these engagements from both players. But the one thing I'm really worried about is that if we come to the natural expansion, the Greater Spire is halfway done.
Now, you might be wondering why those lings were kind of thrown away in that last engagement. At this point in the game, lings are basically free. I mean, when you have 4,000 minerals in the bank, he just took out so many of those supply depots there, but he's going to be chased off. You can make lings basically whenever you want, Sean.
And I mean, with the amount of Brood Lords that NesTea no doubt wants to produce, he is freeing up the supply, getting ready to hop into action. Look at this, MVP constantly losing his reactor on that 1-star port, unable to get his Viking count too high. And I'm pretty sure I know what NesTea wants to do with these corruptors. I'm pretty sure. I think I'll figure out maybe 2-1. Okay, we have one of these. Okay, let's see what he does. Well, let's go ahead and expand, but let's see what he does.
There we go.
There we go. There it is. I had a feeling, JP.
Yeah. But now, if there's anything MVP can deal with, Sean, it's Broodlords, because he is one of the first players to really start with the Ghost play. We already see some Ghost in production. Ghosts do so well against Broodlords.
Now, despite this passivity from MVP, he has scanned the main. He knows that the Hive is up. He knows where the Mutalisks are. They're at the far back side of the map, so suddenly MVP is going to spring into action with some incredible drop play. What can the Broodlords do? They are stuck in the middle. They are slow. The Mutalisk caught at the wrong side of the map. MVP is going to start clawing his way back into this match.
Like he's going to be taking on that extractor. Will he lose any more drones to this? The Mutas are trying to make their way across map. Here come the Banelings rolling in, Sean.
And it looks like the Banelings roll in. They are going to clean up this drop. A couple of Mutalisks are there, but at the wrong place again. All the Marine stims starting to deal massive damage. A fungal growth lands, and it does not quite manage to kill off those Marines. But here comes the big force from NesTea.
Sean, here are the Broodlords. Where are the Vikings? I know they were in production, but I'm not sure if he's going to have enough. He does have to lift that orbital as it gets to half health.
Where are
one Viking? Where are the other ones,
Sean? Reinforcements? There's no reinforcements here. Oh my God! Oh my God, NesTea is going to lose all his Broodlords for almost nothing.
Here comes 3 mutas. Here comes the rest of the mutas. Now NesTea will join forces, but he still has some infestors as well as some Banelings cross map. He's going to deny this orbital command as it does fall.
Nice move there by NesTea, another drop incoming from MVP. Banelings ready to jump into action. Oh, if he killed off the pool, that would be huge. 8,000 minerals in the bank, and it looks like the pool
is he gonna get it? Oh, he does not get it. And now we see him in the main base with the Broodlords, with the Mutas. There are a lot of ghosts out, but is it going to be enough, Sean?
Oh, the Mutalist count. Uh-oh, you're hearing the snipes go down. The ghost stepping into action. See you later, Broodlords.
Down
MVP,
to 4.
MVP, breaking through the Broodlord count. He's picking off the ones in the back, and he cuts them down.
Oh, he gets all of them. NesTea up to 7,000 minerals right now. We see 80 Zerglings in production, but I talked about those ghosts from MVP, Sean, and he just put on a display with them.
I almost want to, talk to MVP and be like, so what do you do about Broodlords? And he's like, what do you mean?
Oh! That is the NesTea that I love, Sean. 46 Banelings in production.
JP, I'm trying to find it. I don't want to spoil it, but I am trying to find it. Where on earth is it? There is a Nidus network building somewhere on this map. I cannot find it for the life of me. Where on earth is it going down? That could be a huge momentum swing. Seriously, where the hell is it? There it is, I found it. The Nidus network.
Yay, let's high five, Sean.
Yeah, woo! Oh my gosh, I actually really hated Where's Waldo as a kid too.
Yeah, man, that book was hard.
That book was impossible. That's the first time I ever had nerd rage. I was like, this is rigged.
Sean, he's loading everything into this Nidus network. The Banelings are having to form a line. It's like he's at Blizzcon waiting to play StarCraft 2.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 and he denies it. And where will he head next?
Now we really have to play Where's Waldo to find out where the next one is, man.
All right, well, it looks like the bottom hatch is being taken. An absolutely perfect final match for this BlizzCon tournament. More drop action coming up. 3 hit points left. Can he take it down? And no!
Oh, he gets it with those infested Terrans. There is a single Broodlord chipping away at this missile turret.
I got it, guys. Don't worry. Going to continue to advance forward, but there's the opportunity for another Nidus network to make its play.
Uh-oh, here is the Nidus.
Uh-oh.
But it will be seen. Look how many ghosts. If you go to the end tab, he's already up to 13. And
13 Ghost MVP is going to try to remax with a Ghost-only army. We see him getting the Terran building armor because, well, why not?
Yeah, why not, man?
Maxed, nothing else to spend his money on. And interestingly, MVP's play now is to deny this bottom expansion and this north expansion and try to force uneven trades for his opponent.
Looks like the Nidus network is unloading, so we'll come back to that in about an hour because of how many Banelings were in there, Sean. They just keep rolling and rolling, man.
I'm just going to leave the screen here for a little bit.
How many, you think 5 seconds? It's done. It's done. Okay.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff, Sean, and looks like he's actually got a plan with this. He's going straight for these destructible rocks.
Yeah, Nidus is actually a very famous clown car that the network was named after.
I guess so. I guess so. NesTea now in the center of the map. Is he going to actually fight this head on? There is a planetary fortress.
Uh-oh. Oh, NesTea absolutely cannot engage that profitably.
And NesTea has just broken the 10,000 mineral mark for a second there.
Oh, that feels so good just to see.
Oh, my.
Okay, I'm
48 with 64 more. He's passing the 100 mark, man. This is what I was talking about. That's NesTea.
Thor up on the high ground. 112 Banelings.
3-3 upgrades, too. That is so... That's just... that's a lot of Banelings, man. I'm sorry.
Spinecrawler push heading through the center. More orbital commands will be constructed by MVP. He still has just 54 workers. And this is what happens when you have not that many workers. Look at that army supply tab. Wow. 50 more food in terms of pure units for MVP. And honestly, I think NesTea really needs to start just throwing away some of his workers.
Here's MVP going for another drop. Looks like he's going to move all 100 and whatever Banelings he has to take it out. Oh, and it connects. You can throw them away when you have that many, Sean.
I mean, MVP continuing to build orbital commands in the middle.
Here's that same lonely Broodlord in the middle of the map, but he has found a Thor up on the high ground.
Oh no, he's gonna lose. Oh no, gigantic blunder from MVP. And it looks like, a little bit of glitching on that one medevac, and an MVP's Marine still so strong, able to rip apart all of those units with ease.
Marines, man, they're pretty good. Lord falls in the center, but here comes NesTea moving forward.
Unable to get the kill. He's going to lob a couple Pesseterans. Marines, no thank you.
Sean. There's 4 Ultralists building right now for NesTea.
Can
he get a repair? And he does
get the repair down. Nice. Now this is going to be a he manages to nab the Viking, gets him again. And he'll be able to pick those off one at a time or kill one and then he's going to die one at a time. 5 Ultralists in production. Now all finishing and popping up. NesTea's going to try to control these 2 expansions. I don't know how well he can do it with this nice positioning from MVP. Interestingly, MVP is slowly letting his Marines die and is replacing it with Ghosts one at a time.
We'll have to see if he can actually kill all those Banelings with the snipes. That would be some pretty impressive stuff. I don't even know if that's humanly possible, but we're not dealing with humans here, Sean. These guys are actually demigods.
Undeniably true, JP McDaniel. In the bottom corner, we see another drone transfer, another drop from MVP. MVP is just trying to do these little whittling plays. We call that whittling.
NesTea.
And you know, it's hard to micro against this many Banelings. Yeah, let's just get out of here.
Yeah. How many Banelings is he at right now? He's down
currently
to
has
79.
79 Banelings. It looks like he lost about 40 in the course of just dealing with these drops. And yeah, you know what? I have the money. Come look at the resource tab with me. 13,000, 4,000.
Jesus. That is, that's the most money I've ever seen in a pro-level match. Here comes another drop. Will he get it? Well, it looks like MVP actually forgot about it.
And can he nab it again? And he...
and he gets it.
You know, part of me is expecting NesTea to start trying to build wonders to end the game.
I know, man. This is just kind of not really a stalemate, but NesTea just playing so passive. There's another fungal. He catches all those dropships. Will he be able to pull up? No, he will not. When is NesTea going to decide to move in? There's a nuke building.
It's a nuclear missile.
Gotta love those nukes, Sean.
As he is doing his full trip to California, MVP doing his America impersonation, getting that nuclear missile. Getting ready to try to break through the spine crawler play here.
Is NesTea actually going? Well, maybe not. He just has so many ultras. We see another drop here in the main. It's going back for that spawning pool, Sean, and he gets it this time.
Now, you know, I really think that what MVP is trying to do, or excuse me, NesTea is trying to do, is to mine out everything on the map. And that way he can try to maybe pull back, but it looks like MVP's continual prodding has managed to make one of these vulnerable, and it looks like there's a big fungal growth. Can he possibly pick them out in time? And there's another fungal, and no, it is not enough.
He does lose the hatchery. Now, NesTea is just not really sure when he wants to attack. I mean, there's so many ghosts out there for MVP, and he's just relentless with these drops. Sean, here comes the ghost. We might be seeing the nuke happening pretty soon.
Please. Please. Oh my goodness.
Here's the nuke.
There's the nuke going down. Both players are thinking that the crowd's noises are for their own play, and now it looks like too many places at once, and he's waltzing right by.
And
the scan goes down.
lose a lot, but here's a drop over in the main of MVP.
An absolutely insane finish. He is unloading everything up under the high ground. MVP caught off guard, and look at the ghost count. 18 ghosts on the field right now. He's leaving a lot of them still loaded up, but suddenly 0 mining expansions for NesTea, but he still has absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. And there's the forces.
There he goes. He's going to drop.
He's trying to snipe the Broodlords.
He destroys that pack. He's sniping the Overlord, Sean.
I don't believe it. An incredible final match, and he manages to clean it up. And supply block for NesTea. He is unable to remake the forces that he needs. More snipes, the Ultralists, absolutely meaningless in the face of that many ghosts.
Snipe is pretty good. He's still supply capped. Still has a lot of Banelings up here in these Overlords, but the more Overlords that he loses, the further and further he's going to be down. There's a big Overlord pop.
The dropping continues from MVP. cleaning up every single base on the map. NesTea's income is in ruins. The Nidus network will end up falling.
And if if MVP actually comes back and takes this, which right now it's looking like he will, I mean, I'm not sure if NesTea can even produce that much stuff, as we see 3 nukes in production for MVP. This is just looking really good right now for the Terran player MVP.
MVP being slow and methodical, dropping, gently prodding, but do not forget about that resource count. 10,000, 6,000, an insane amount of money. 11 Corruptors on the field right now, 5 more incoming. Oh, the Corruptors will be able to clean up this drop, but that's also a big clue to NesTea as to what's to come. 14 Corruptors. Oh, this is actually going to turn out to be a nail-bitingly close finish as well. We see there's 18 ghosts on the field.
Uh-oh, Sean. 3 nukes are finished. One of them closed immediately and is moving out. You can look at its path. It's going to go for the expansion of NesTea. And that is one of his 5 remaining hatcheries. So if he loses that, I mean, he's not going to be able to really produce that many units. But NesTea going for another drop.
Uh-oh.
Nuke's going off.
Where is
it? Sean, right here.
There's the nuke on that bottom expansion. The drop looks like it will not be repelled, taking a lot of damage. And at that expansion, looks like the nuke successfully lands again. Another nuke targeting and does successfully land as well.
Wow. MVP is looking so good in this match right now.
I can burrow. I can detect. I just need a burrow. I just need a few more seconds to detect. There he is. Oh, no.
And he's just going to go back and finish the job there on that hatch.
Not
He
enough.
doesn't get it.
Poor Sport Crawler. I did my best. And now MVP continuing to clean up that south position. The map ringed with all of those sensor towers. Supply blocked yet again. What the?
Whoa, 18 Broodlords popping there, all the way up to 20. Well, you're gonna have to have a lot of snipes to deal with that, Sean.
No. We see 14.
That is the most Broodlords I've ever seen in a single game, Sean.
Oh, he's trying to stop just outside of the scan. Oh, if MVP nukes that.
3 nukes.
If MVP nukes that, it looks like he's heading straight front and middle. It looks like he's going to try to pick off that again. 3 nukes in 3 locations. The Spine Crawlers will not be able to unburrow in time. MVP, see you later. It looks like at the bottom expansion, it will fall as well. MVP, relentless with these nukes, and he does not get it in time.
Well, I think it's time to move forward with these Broodlords, Sean. Let's get a quick count. That is 27 Broodlords here for NesTea. How many Vikings do we have on the map? We have 14 Vikings and 18 ghosts.
I do not know if there's any way that MVP can even kill off this army quickly enough. NesTea still has so much money rallied. And there, NesTea now sees the front line of MVP. MVP now knows what he is up against.
Here we go, Sean.
The unit count is ridiculous, and I think NesTea's realizing he may have overproduced massive amounts of cloak. Now stepping forward, we see the Infestor starting to work forward. Snipes galore.
There's the snipe.
MVP! Broodlords continuing to rip through absolutely everything. The food
sniping every single Broodlord.
Oh my goodness!
Has MVP done it, Sean?
MVP crushed in the winners bracket finals. Now has just forced a 41-minute game with nukes, snipes.
GG! MVP wins! Blizzcon 2011!
MVP! I don't believe it!
Coming back from the losers bracket, Sean.
With a stunning finish. Nukes, Ghosts, your champion, ladies and gentlemen.